from being and also not to depend on interventions that are done by either Parliament and the department. Can the Honourable Minister share with us if the SABC is going to have revenue generation measures that will ensure that SABC does not depend on the interventions that we do as Parliament? Thank you very much.
Honourable Minister. Thank you, Chairperson. The SABC, as we have outlined in the turnaround strategy, what we said, as I mentioned earlier, that it's important that we make SABC the best public broadcaster. And that means key to it is to ensure that we source local content that will help us raise the revenue or generate the revenue that we're talking about, but also to explore other ways of utilizing technologies. Recently, we've had the CEO of SABC mentioning that they're embarking on OTT, which is over-the-top technologies, to make sure that people can access the services as and when they want to, wherever they are. They need not be in their cars or in their homes to open the TVs, but they can access on their mobile devices. But on top of that, as I mentioned earlier again, was to look into the existing infrastructure and assets that we have from SABC and to say what is it that we do not need, and therefore how do we make sure that we utilize that, whether we sell or we decide to lease, in order for SABC to generate revenue. Key to that was the sensitive issue that has always been raised in relation to the workers, the productivity of the workers of SABC, and we have agreed that we're going to conduct a skills audit so that we can retrain and make sure that the employees of SABC are responsive to the future broadcaster. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Nana.
Enkosi Sekela Sihlalo, mphathiswa obekekileyo, kule minyaka ingama-20 nangaphezulu sizibonile ii-boards nee-CEOs zifika ziphinda zimke e-SABC, zonke zifika zithembisa utshintsho, kodwa ii-facts out there are telling a different story. Umcimbi omkhulu e-SABC ngumcimbi wabasebenzi abaninzi, kwaye wena you are on record objecting to retrenchment. Now, considering that the new board says for us to go ahead as a viable SABC, we've got to downsize SABC. Minister, will you reconsider your objection to retrenchments SABC? Thanks, Deputy Chair.
Honourable Minister. Thank you, Chairperson. Lungu elihloniphileyo lendlu yowiso-mthetho, maniqale ndithi akuyonyani eyokuba i-SABC iphume yathi ifuna ukuhlisa izinga labasebenzi. Ithe ku-turnaround strategy yayo ethe yapasiswa lisebe elilezonxibelelwano nalisebe lezemali khona ukuze bakwazi ubanika imali. Lithe liza kwenza i-skills audit. Kubalulekile into yokuba sijonge into yoba amandla sinawo angakanani, sijonge nokuba i-SABC ufuna uba yi-SABC enjani xa sibheka phambili kwikamva lethu khona ukuze sizakwazi ukufaka izakhono. Ithi ke ekubeni ibonile into yokuba eneneni bakhona abangenakuba babe ngaphuhliswa kwizakhono zabo, iyakuthi iconsiderishe ezinye indlela zokuncedisana naloo nto. Ukugqitha mhlonipheki kwakhona, xa usithi umphathiswa lo uthethayo on record esithi uya objector kwi-retrenchments by SABC, correct again, Honourable Member, because this minister engaged with the SABC on section 189 and requested that if there is no feasible retrenchment plan, you can't go ahead with retrenchments, because you need to make sure that budget is available and you need to understand your capability in terms of the skills that are in-house, so that we do not retrench people today and in the next 6 months you come back and say we want to rehire you at a higher cost. We are considerate, because right now SABC SABC is tapping into the taxpayers' money. Therefore, we've got to be cautious and take unpopular decisions at time. And the decision that was taken is what has been confirmed by the board, as I said earlier. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Member. Honourable Klute.
Thank you, Chairperson. Minister, on the subject of financial viability of the SABC and the turnaround strategy you spoke about, the dire state of the SABC does not mean that its executives are paying the price. In fact, they are still receiving very high salaries. The SABC received a total package of 3.9 million rand for 9 months work at the state broadcaster. Now, the SABC will argue that it has cut costs on expenses, but part of that cut should be seen together with a cut on income as well. Minister, in view of the current state of affairs of the SABC, is your department confident that taxpayers are receiving value for money for paying a CEO in excess of 5 million rands by the end of this financial year?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honourable Member, yes, the department and the minister believes that the CEO is getting what he's supposed to get, and we are confident that as we benchmark with the industry out there, that if we want our executives to perform to their level best, they have to be compensated in a deserving manner. And as I said, their turnaround plan is very clear on what needs to be done. And as the department, we made a commitment to this House that we will be appointing a CRO that will monitor on the cost containment measures to make sure that the taxpayers' money that has been sent to SABC is well spent, and indeed the public gets the service that it deserves. Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Mutsamai. It's these people that are writing here. I'm just reading what I see. Sorry, Mulitsan. Sorry.
Accepted, Deputy Chair. Honourable Minister, the collapse of the SABC happened under the nose of the people employed and deployed to that institution. Don't you think that the fact that no one has been subjected to prosecution for misappropriation of funds is contributing to the culture of impunity at the SABC? Thank you.
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, Honourable Member, for that question. It is not true that at SABC we have not held people accountable. Starting from the investigations that were conducted by the law enforcement agencies, we had said where we need to make sure that we recoup our money, let's do so. Unfortunately, it is not something that we can just go to your house and take money, but we've got to follow all the processes. And as I'm speaking to you right now, there are even employees who are suspended from SABC because of them being implicated in such activities. We do commit that as we move forward, we are trying to make sure that we will be alert at all times. That is why we said, actually, the appointment of the CRO, including the reporting by SABC to the department monthly, will help us to be able to see these things on time and therefore be able to provide effective oversight and act on time. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. We are going to the next question, question 203. Honourable Arnolds, asking the Minister of Communications. Over to you, Minister.
What number, Chair?
203. That is the one on the community radio stations.
Thank you, Honourable Chairperson, and the member that asked the question. We indeed have received lots of reports that were mentioning the fact that ICASA is shutting down some radio stations, and we undertook a decision to have a meeting between myself and the Minister in the Presidency, Minister Jackson Mthembu, including ICASA, MDDA, and all the affected bodies to make sure that we can find a solution to the work that is, to the challenge that is being faced by the entities. Most of them, they are not tax compliant, and others are owing Centec, which is the signal distributor. And therefore, as we at times put money as government, it's important that we ensure that all those that get funding, actually even those that are licensed, even if they're not getting funding from government, they must be compliant in terms of corporate governance and all the other statutes of government that are expected with them to comply with. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Arnolds, you've got a supplementary question.
Yeah, thank you.
Jy sal nou nie kan 'n hele vraag vra oor die
Thank you,
kosse praat.
Deputy Chairperson. Minister, closing down of any community radio station or any licensee by ICASA is not in the best interest of the public. Community radio stations play a critical role in promoting social cohesion, fostering diversity, upliftment, and empowering of communities. Radio Zibonele in the Western Cape is one of those examples of community radio stations that submitted its renewal application on time and no response was received from ICASA. When the station followed up, ICASA's response was that they want proof of documents submitted. There are serious challenges of administration capacity in ICASA to regulate community sound broadcasters in the public interest. What other means of support are you providing to those radio stations, and by when will ICASA operate with adequate capacity? Thank you, Minister.
Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, Honorable Member. You are correct to say when we established the community radio stations or the community media, we had a conscious decision that our people need not be deprived of information. And therefore, it's better if we get it from them at the grassroots level and be able to interact with government and everybody else. And therefore, the decision to license those that were not licensed was taken cautiously to say, as we license, because we are a responsible government that have laws in place. And these laws, unfortunately, have to be adhered by all, because by the time we give you the license, we explain to you what are the terms and conditions of the license. And therefore, we expect all to comply. Indeed, Honorable Member, you're raising a very crucial thing to say. Now with the case of Zibonele that sent some documentation and ICASA did not respond, and they asked them to resubmit, we do have capacity challenges here and there, and that is something, as we have said in our budget vote, that this year we're focusing on making sure that we refocus ICASA to be the best regulator that it can be, and that includes capacitating it. Because as much as we talk of the personnel that we have, but the issue that we never look at is the capability of the personnel to deliver on the services. That's why we introduced the skills audit again across all entities that are under the portfolio, so that we can introduce reskilling and training that is compulsory in order to address and bridge those gaps. I will therefore, Honorable Member, take it into consideration that we make a follow-up in order for Zibonele to get an update in relation to the matter raised. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Makausi.
Thank you, House Chairperson. Minister, the MDDA...
A point of order. I'm not a House Chairperson.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson.
What is the problem?
You are promoted.
You are promoted. You must receive.
Deputy Chairperson, it is clear that you are refusing promotion when the EFF benches are actually promoting you to be the House Chairperson. Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. Minister, the MDDA, including ICASA, do not support community radio stations, and that's a fact. Throughout the country, these stations continue to suffer under the guard of these entities. It is clear that they don't have the best interest of our communities at heart, because they continue to close them down. They continue not to give them support. We're dealing with lay people here who do not have, majority of them do not have experience on how to manage the stations. And if you refuse communities information, it's sabotage. We cannot have uninformed communities. Since you took office, what measures have you put in place to make sure that whatever that is happening now, currently, will not happen? Because it is clear that this matter has been on the table of ICASA and MDDA for quite some time.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chairperson. I just want to correct this notion that MDDA and ICASA do not care about the people of this country. That is not true. I did acknowledge that we have capacity issues within the entities, but to say they really do not care, that's not fair, Honorable Member. Of course, we try to introduce measures that look into capacitating the stations themselves, because even without them getting funding from government, they must learn to generate revenue. And part of that, it talks to capacitating them with marketing skills, giving them entrepreneurial skills on how to drive the broadcasting portfolio that they are involved in. We have also taken it in consideration to engage with the communities around those community radio stations to say, because in most cases, Deputy Chairperson, I go and apply for a license for a community radio station. By the time I get into a fight with my board members, I take everything as if the license belongs to me, because the communities in certain areas, they don't understand what community means. That radio station, that license belongs to them, and therefore they are supposed to be providing oversight and support to the radio station. So we find that in other areas, there will be a station manager that runs with the chair because I applied for a license. And to address that, we said, let's have a workshop, an integrated workshop of all the stakeholders, SARS included in terms of looking into the tax issues. We had MDDA on board, we had ICASA and Centec to say, radio stations, this is what we expect from yourselves, this is how we're going to come on board, including developing a community broadcasting support strategy to say, who is it that we fund as government? Because we can't fund all the entities even if they are able to make their own money. Because we have others that are not paying Centec, as I'm talking to the signal distributor, but they can afford, because they're making lots of money when we trace the books. What we're saying, everybody that is licensed, everybody that is getting paid to ensure that there's effective communication to our communities must play their own part, including the volunteers in the community radio stations and the print papers and the communities themselves. We again commit. I'm committing Minister Jackson here. MDDA is under Minister Jackson. I'm committing him here because I know we've had a meeting to say, let's bring all the stakeholders together. Let's engage with the NCRF and find ways of empowering those that have gaps. And we try as government to say, together, how do we then make sure that our people get the relevant information through the platforms that we establish? Thank you, Deputy Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Bibi. Can we get assistance here?
And then? No. Ngiyabonga sihlalo. Mphathiso womnyango ohloniphekile. Cha uphendule kahle imibuzo eminingi impela. Koko ngithi angibuze ukuthi iziphi inhlelo ezibekiweyo umnyango zokuqinisekisa ukuthi iziteshi zokusakaza zivalwa ikakhulukazi emphakathini. Nokudlulisa nje ulwazi olukhululekile lwezindaba. Ngicela nje ukwazi ukuthi eziphi ke izinhlelo umphathiso onazo ukuze kungaphazamiseki ukuthi abantu bazizwe indaba lezi. Ngiyabonga kuba.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Over to you.
Ndiyabulela mhlonipheki. Silisebe lezokunxibelelana nezixhobo zokuxhumana nesebe elise ofisini kamongameli. Siye sathi ukuthabatha kwethu inyathelo ukuthi asidibanise kanye ezi entities sithetha ngazo uqinisekisa into yokuba ziyahlala njengoba besendishilo nebhunga elijongene kunye naba bezokusasaza. Intlanganiso yabo imiselwe umhla wesi-7 apho kuNovemba. Kulapho ke bazawutsho bathi nazi ingxaki esijongene nazo kuthiwe ke ngoku kweli lethu ibhunga lokuthi sihambise amaza singuSentec senza kanjani uqinisekisa into yoba siyahlangabezana nabo ukuquka nokunto yoba sithi senza kanjani umnyenyevu ukuba abanye noko singabatshaji ngokuthe qelele xa sibona uba bathetha intweni. Okusemqoka ukuthi silisebe lezokunxibelelana kuqinisekisa abantu baseMzantsi Afrika ngalo lonke ixesha bafumana ulwazi ukanti bayakwazi ukuxhumana nezizwe ngezizwe abajongene namabhunga abakuwo. Ndiyabulela mhlali ngaphambili.
Thank you, Sima. Honorable Modise.
Minister, I appreciate your support and the guide and everything that we give to the community radio station. But my question is this: does ICASA have an educational program or measures that are in place to ensure that the community radio station understand their obligation and the level of compliance to remain
Honorable
on
Landsman,
air?
you are totally out of order. I hope it will be the last time that you do what you have been doing now. Honorable Landsman, didn't you see he come and he stand right in front of you whilst you are addressing?
Okay.
It's not right.
Okay. Thanks, Honorable Minister. Did you get my questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you so much, Deputy Chairperson and the Honorable Member. Earlier on in my response, I mentioned as part of the interventions that we're introducing that we're running an integrated training for all those that are affected. ICASA is also part of the entities that are provided that training. I spoke of corporate governance matters that needed to be followed by all the boards and those that are affected in community media, and it is ICASA that takes responsibility over those to say, we understand here are the license conditions. It is our responsibility to help you when we say you are the chair of the board, these are your responsibilities, and what's the difference or what's the role of the board versus the role of the management. So we are undertaking such educational programs, Honorable Member. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. The next question is question 216, asked by the very same Honorable Tebogo Modise.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member, for that question. And indeed, yes, we had a total of 6 cases that we dealt with after the release of the sexual harassment report. All the 6 have been concluded. 2 employees have been found not guilty, 3 have been found guilty and were effectively dismissed, and 1 employee decided to resign before disciplinary action could be concluded. A further 2 cases of sexual harassment have been identified since the release of the report, and these are currently being pursued. The next step in the sexual harassment matter is to investigate those employees who are alleged to have been complicit on these matters. Thank you, Deputy Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Modise, you will be the first one to ask for a supplementary question. You don't have to indicate again. So it will be you now.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Minister, because of these sexual harassment in SABC, do we have a plan to make sure that this SABC remain a free sexual harassment working environment for the employees, especially for the junior staff and women, because they are the one who was harassed most of the time. I've never had the senior managers or the men being harassed. It's only young women and women. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. As the SABC, what we did was to say, let's review our sexual harassment policy, and not just review it, but make sure that we workshop everyone who is an employee of SABC against what's entailed in the document, and therefore it's very clear in terms of what will be the consequences of those that will be found guilty or would have contravened what is in the policy. The process that I'm talking about right now, they are busy workshopping their staff on different days as agreed upon with unions and the non-unionized staffing. It's an action and a decision by the SABC itself. They did not even wait for the policymaker to take that decision. They realized that they're faced with a challenge, and then they said it's in their interest to protect their own employees, especially women, as the Honourable Member emphasized. Thank you, Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Luthuli.
Ngibonge Sekela Hlalo. Minister, okwami kuncane la ukubuza ukuthi njengoba nje sazi ukuthi lelizwe njengamanje lisingathwe i-rate enkulu ye gender based violence. So as a department yakho and SABC, ikuphi lokho enikwenzayo ukwenza sure ukuthi lezi ndawo abasebenza kuzona ziphephile nanokuthi minister uma ngabe sekhona komuntu osebikile ukuthi usexually ikuphi enikwenza njenge department ukumnikeza isupport especially kwi counseling le support nje ezomuntu esifazana asuke edinga. Ngiyabonga.
Ndibulele sekela sihlalo wendlu. Mhlonipheki okwethu kuqinisekisa into yokuba njengoba besendishile ipolicy sinazo kodwa okubalulekileyo ukufundisa abantu ngobungozi bokuthi bazibandakanye kwizenzo ezinjengezo. Uthi ke ngokusenza kanjani xa umuntu usethe weza ngaphambili ukuthi ndingiyelo mna nje ndahlukumezeka. Singabanye babantu abekhe bathi gqa konondaba ngesehlo besithe sehla. May her soul rest in peace. Uyinene ethe yenzeke epost office. Isifundisile ke lonto ukuthi ixesha elinintsi siba nazo ipolicy singazilandeleli. Lonto siye sathi emveni kweso sento sathi makwenziwe investigation kwi-entities ezichaphazelekayo kodwa sathi okubalulekileyo masenze into yoba i-SSA iyazi into yokuba iyavetha wonke umuntu kuba ayisike yenzeka isehlo soba sibona umuntu ongumama sehlukunyezwa. Suba kune-traits noba uzazenzeke kuqala okanye ziza kwenzeka apha phakathi zikhona into ezithile. So sathi makwenziwe that vetting and then from there siyazi into yokuba siyayazi into yoba si-establisha i-victim empowerment centers zoncedisa abantu abangomama kwezi ndawo khona ukuze into bakwazi ukuba bathethe because bathi baseneloyiko lokuba bathethe gabalala kuba ngelinye ixesha bakholelwa ngodade amapolisa. Siye sathi ke ukuhlanganisana nobuxhakaxhaka obu sijongene nabo silisebe sapartnerisha noVodacom othenga inkampani elapha eSilicon Cape eStellenbosch basiphathela i-device ene-technology encedisa omama ukuthi baripote ngokupressa endaweni ethile ilocate uba undawuni amapolisa azawukwazi ukuthi asabele siza kube silontsha yona ngomhla we-16 kule nyanga sime kuyo. Enkosi Sekela.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Ndongeni, you will be followed by Honorable Nana.
Enkosi sihlalo, mphathiswa, ingaba bangaphi abasebenzi abajongene notshutshiso okanye abamisiweyo emsebenzini okwethutyana ngenjongo zokujongana nololuleko ngokuthi bahlukumeze ngokwezocansi?
Thank you, Honorable Minister.
Ndiyabulela Sekela Sihlalo. Mhlonipheki njengoba bendishilo pha ekuqaleni sithe sane case ezipha kwisithandathu ezabantu abachaphazeleka kwesi simo sithetha ngaso ukanti abanye babo siye sakwazi into yoba sibakhulule sibakhuphe emsebenzini abanye sisaqhuba nabo sisaphanda kuba kufuneka silandele zonke izinto bangabuyeli ukuthi omnye njengoba besendishilo uthe wehla emsebenzini phambi koba sigqibezele inkqubo lebesiyenza yokuphanda. Siyaqhubeleka ke njengoba besendishilo into yokuba ukusebenza nesebe elezobunhlola pha phantsi komama uAyanda Dlodlo siyancedisa into yoba masijonge siskrine ukujonga into yokuba angaba bekhona abanye ababethe bafunyanwa bechaphazeleka kwezenzo khona ukuze sizakwazi into yokuba si-acte ngokusemthethweni silisebe namabhunga aphansi kwethu. Ndiyabulela Sekela Sihlalo.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Nana.
Hayi abana chance ndinje ndala abana dislodge abacinga. Mphathiswa ngomhla wesithandathu kuNovember kulonyaka ophelileyo i-Commission of Inquiry into Sexual Harassment SABC yathi thakanca i-report yayo recommendation ukhuthaza i-SABC okokuba ize nento efana ne-TRC okanye into efana nala amnesty eyenziwe nguSARS kubantu abadoja itax. Ithi la recommendation abantu abafumana umsebenzi ngokuqala bawungqenqa kuqala okanye umntana awuvuma indoda kuqala mabeze ngaphambili bazofumana iamnesty. Umbuzo ke minister uthi kumaxa kundawuni SABC nalo recommendation ye Commission of Inquiry. Enkosi.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Over to you.
Ndibulele kumhlonipheki uNana. njengoba sowusitsho nto nje uyibhuda xa ucinga ngomama bodwa abangqengqayo ukuze bafumane imisebenzi kuba nootata bayangqengqiswa bayifumane imisebenzi. Ukuphendula kodwa ke umbuzo lo uthetha ngayo siye sathi njengoba nditshilo uba ezinye cases esizilandelele elinye ke ngoku ibakala kukho into yoba masiphande aba bantu uthetha ngabo aba kuye kwathiwa mabanikwe le amnesty sithetha ngayo kuba kaloku kufuneka sicreate environment that will be conducive for them to be able to come bazothi indeed I'm a victim, because it is not easy to declare your status if you're not certain that you'll be protected by your organization. So these are the measures that we are putting in place to ensure that by the time they come they will receive support and protection from their own organization. We will come back and report on the numbers that would have come to the front to say, indeed, I'm a victim. Ustella Ndabeni Abrams seduced me and this is what happened. That's why I ended up being employed here. Or Umhleka Zunana, this is what he did. And therefore we say, what decision do we take on the conduct by Honorable Nana in the matter referred to? Thank you, Deputy Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. We will now go to the question 210 by Honorable Mabatu Mokause.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. As the work that we have started on as the post office, we are expected to make sure that we refurbish and provide air conditioning system at the Swane Mail Center not later than January 2020. And the second question linked to that, we've just finalized the allocation to the panel of professionals of large projects for refurbishments, which includes the Swane Mail Center. The Bid Education Committee is sitting this week to finalize the matter. The appointment of the professional team for the Swane Mail Center will then assess the condition of the entire building, including the air conditioning system. Based on their assessment and specification, SAPO will go out on a tender for the appointment of a contractor. The air conditioning system, which will require inputs by a mechanical engineer, will be prioritized for repairs or replacement as part of the refurbishment. As I said, it will not be later than January 2020, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The supplementary question. Honorable Makause, you can be a bit patient. Suka. Supplementary question, yes, Honorable Makause.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. Honorable Minister, we appreciate your response only because you have put timelines to your response. We are going to hold you responsible and accountable because you have committed to us, not only as a party, because we've got the best interest of workers at heart. Me and you can't work under these extreme hot weather conditions. No aircon for a particular season. But we expect those poor workers to deliver up to the expectation of the employee. Now, that building is an old building, and they have been working under those conditions for quite some time. Those who have suffered, for instance, asthmatic, those who have suffered tuberculosis, because the conditions there are unbearable. Do you have some sort of plan to compensate such workers? And have you identified them through the employee wellness program at that center? Thank you.
Over to you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson. And Honorable Member, yes, the first step for any responsible organization is to have its employee awareness program, which seeks to day-to-day address the challenges that they go through. The second one, Honorable Member, oh my goodness, I pray that you stand with me on this one. We really need more money to change the infrastructure that we have, because it is an old infrastructure, as you correctly put it. But unfortunately, at times, budget is the one that constrains us from doing that we're supposed to do. But nevertheless, we have as the policymaker, together with the board, engage the unions to say what other measures can we introduce to make sure that all these things that are affecting the employees can be attended. And therefore it talks to reprioritization of the budget. Where must it go to? Where it matters. And then the employees are busy, as I said now, they're engaging on that to say we're reprioritizing the services of post office, and they will come back to us to say, as we're going to be presenting to the Department of Finance at the end of the month, these are the areas that we reprioritize, because as I said, there's lots of post offices that have bad infrastructure, but on top of that, with the addition of the social grants, for example, that we still expected to provide quality service to them, looking into the dignity of the beneficiaries. And these are the things, some of them were not the core business of post office, that at least our responsibility was to pay or make sure that the beneficiary gets access to that he's entitled to. But now other issues are the added ones, which is what we're motivating for in terms of getting extra budget. For now, I would request the honourable members to stand with us, as we're going to come to Parliament requesting more budget so that we can attend to all the burning issues. Thank you, Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. The next will be Honourable Mushodi.
Much, Deputy Chair. Thanks, Honourable Minister. My follow-up question is, are they health and safety offices in all post offices and mail centers throughout the country? And what processes are in place to ensure that their concern are addressed or channeled to the department for action? Thank you, Honourable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honourable Mushodi. Over to you, Minister.
Honourable Member. Yes, full procurement and distribution of uniform and personal protective equipment to all staff was done pre-strike, which was in 2013-2014 during Honourable Karim's time. Due to financial constraints following the... Somebody switched me off. Thank you, Chairperson. They brought me back. During the same period, SAPO could only provide uniform and PPE to limited employees, as we were depleting the uniform stock on hand, and only large size was available. We lose weight every day. 2018-2019, freezer suits were procured and distributed to mail center employees. As SAPO, we have finalized the procurement of rainwear and footwear for postmen. The PPE will be delivering on this, and the distribution will be done to postmen by the end of December 2019. Funds have been made available to provide full uniform and PPE sets to all qualifying employees during the 2019-20 financial year. And as I said earlier, expected distribution to all employees is before the end March 2020. Thereafter, plans are in place to stock sufficient PPE and uniform to reissue to employees as and when required. Thank you, Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Nana.
Straight here, there's a growing number of honourable members who continuously refer to you as Chairperson. They must tell us if there is something happening with Honourable Masondo. They must tell us, Chair, Deputy Chair.
You know, in Kimberley we say urata ditaba wena.
Well, Deputy Chair, mphathiswa umcimbi wemali unyathela bemali ayikho. Asizukunqangisa ke mntana abantu ngokho kwemali ba ayenziwanga nguwe. Siyayazi imali eliso bayotshona phi. Umbuzo nje endifuna ukubuza wona, ingaba uyonelisekana ukuba phaya eTshwane Mail Center i-basic employment conditions zimithiwe? I mean bare minimum. Thank you.
Mandibulele kulungu elihloniphekileyo. Nditsho ndithi njengoba besendishilo ekuqaleni ukuthi njengorhulumente okhathalayo asenelisekanga thina kuqala ngesimo abasebenzi bethu abazifumana bekuzo. Yiyo lento sithethe le migomo yokuthi asihlengahlengise inkqubo kunye nebudget khona ukuze sikwazi ezinto zisemqoka ezikhusela neziqiniseka uba abasebenzi bethu khona ukuze bakwazi ukuphuhlisa ngokusezingeni ezi zinto zijongwe baphangela kwindawo ezikhuselekileyo ukanti nabo bayakwazi uba xa beze emsebenzini yindawo endingathi nam ndingumphathiswa xa kufuneka ndihambe ndiyokuthi nkqo ndiyafika ndingachazanga ndikwazi uba ndingahlala imini yonke. Ngoko yindaba esemqoka ukuthi le yiyo le nto ndithe siyahlengahlengisa ngoku kwizinto esizenzayo abasebenzi bona ngokunokwabo bazatsho into yoba nazi esicinga bafana uba zisemqoka sithathe apho ke ukuhambe uyocela imali ngolo hlobo bazobe sivumelene ngalo. Ndiyabulela Mhlonipheke.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Ngwenya.
Thank you, Deputy Chair. Mhlonishwa, beyond the report challenges facing the Tshwane Mail Center, has the department undertaken an audit of the health and safety of the working conditions of post office workers throughout the country? And what plans are in place to ensure that post office workers work in an environment that is not only conducive, but also in compliance with the health and safety standard? Ngiyabonga Mhlonishwa.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Member. As I said, key to addressing the challenges that we faced with at the Tshwane Mail Center is the issue of reprioritization of the budget so that we can attend to them, but mainly talking to the health and safety of the employees is what I referred to earlier, that we have set aside, at least now in 2018-2019, some budget to make sure that we attend to the core things that they've spoken about, those that are belonging to the postmen and the other employees that are affected. I did put time frames, Honorable Member, to say others will receive this equipment no later than December 2019 and the rest of the staff no later than March 2020. And it is something that we are engaging with the employees, as I have said. Thank you, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The next question will be question 217 by the Honorable TSC Dodovu. Honorable Minister, over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Oh, okay, all right. The SABC owes only the Northwest Local Municipality an amount of 2,428 rand 66 cents, which came through as a late request for payment. It will be paid mid-month of November 2019. Thank you, Chairperson.
Supplementary, Honorable Dodovo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Based on the answer, I'm quite satisfied, and I want to really applaud the Minister for proactively facilitating payments to municipalities, because failure to do that puts a lot of strain to municipalities in terms of discharging their constitutional obligations. I'm quite satisfied, Minister. Keep it up.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dodovu. I didn't hear it as a question. It was rather a comment. So can we then have Honorable Mula?
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, has there been any engagement between the SABC and the various municipalities that it owed to establish a payment plan for the settlement of their debts? I thank you.
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Deputy Chairperson, and the question from the Honourable Member. As I said, we only owe one municipality in the Northwest, and we've already engaged with them. They'll be getting their money mid-November. That's the only municipality. Upon receiving our grant, our bailout from Treasury, we started engaging with all the people that we are owing and arranged for payment terms. As a result, municipalities are all paid except for this one that was due to late submission by the municipality. Thank you, Deputy Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Mikalakas.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chair. Honorable Minister, if it is true that the SABC only owes municipalities 2,000 Rand, or just over 2,000 Rand, why can't they pay royalties and artists the way they pay municipalities? Thank you.
Honorable Minister, the question was about municipalities, unless you want to respond to that.
Probably let me also help the honorable member. Like any responsible organization, when you have debts, you engage with the people that you owe to say, we do understand that we are owing you so much, but this is what we can afford. And therefore, over this period, this is what we'll afford to pay you. The reason SABC has managed to pay those municipalities is because they are lower. And most importantly, SABC, as I said, has engaged with its own creditors and debtors to say, what's the payment plan? As I'm speaking to you now, out of the 2.1 billion that we got from the Treasury, SABC has paid about 1.3 billion to the people that it owed. That is why we are confident to say it's going to turn around, because at least it is on good record with its own people that is working with those that are driving the core business of SABC, and the relations have been improved. Thank you, Deputy Chairperson.
Honorable Lutuli.
Ngibonge Sekela Sihlalo. Mphathiswa. Owami umbuzo la ukuthi uSABC hlezi njalo sizwa kuthiwa uyatakulwa ezikoletini usuku naso hlezi unikezwe imali. Kodwa sikaze sikuthola ukuthi uaccount anini ngalezi imali ngoba ngaso sonke isikhathi sithola uSABC uyakweletwa, SABC uyakweletwa. So kwenzakalani? Khona ni plan ekhona ukuthi kwenziwe sure ukuthi kuyacheck ukuthi njalo mangabe usuku uthola imali uyisebenzisa ngendlela ufuna ukuyisebenzisa ngayo ayikho eshona ephaketheni.
Thank you. Over to you.
Enkosi Mhlonipheki, njengoba besendishilo ndathi kulamgaqo lolamqulu siyawusubmit phaya eTreasury sisebenza neSABC. Omnye wemigomo kuqinisekisisa into babanika ingxelo ngotyalo mali nenkcitho abayenzayo inyanga nenyanga kwisebe eli ndilikhokeleyo khona ukuze nam ndithathe ndiligqithise ndilisepa kwisebe lezomnotho. Lento ithetha ukuthi ke njengoba besendishilo nangona sinengxaki ezininzi zemali eSABC kuye kwafuneka sibone into bangawaphi amanye amajelo angathi asincedise ukukhulisa le mali siyifumene kurhulumente. Uzawukhumbula Mhlonipheki, isicelo ebesisenzile kurhulumente sese-6 billion inkulungwane ezintandathu zamarandi. Sifumene 3 billion. Eseyizile kuthi singu-SABC yi-2.1 billion ngokuba asithanga sakwazi ukuba sifikelele kuyo yonke imigomo ebithe yabekwa. Yinto ke leyo esisebenzisana kuyo uqiniseka ukuba siyayikhulula naleyana khona ukuze SABC akwazi ukwenza izinto ezizamqoka ezizamncedisa into yokuba akhule akwazi ukwenza umsebenzi amele ukwenza. Silisebe sithe gqolo ngapha kwesebe kwe-unity yethu esibiza yi-SOC branch ejongana no-SABC nezinye entities ukuba senza kanjani zindoni ingxaki. Then inyanga nenyanga siyamita kanye siyahlangana nebhodi isithathe isibeke kulaa ndawo ithi mphathiswa nazi ingxaki esinazo ngoku. Sicinga ubani namphathiswa namalungu eParliament khanijonge kulaa mthetho na ubekayo usenza into yokuba thina singu-SABC kufuneka sizozeneka ngobume esenza ngawo imali nebhizinesi yethu, kodwa niyayazi into yokuba sikwi-competition nabanye abantu. Zizinye zezinto esithe sizazise eParliament kuba eneneni ziyayichaphazela the capability and the effectiveness in terms of competition ka SABC. Ndiyabulela Mhlonipheki.
Thank you very much. That dealt with that question. We will now go to 209, asked by the Honorable Mokause.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Chairperson. As I said earlier, as the Post Office, we do not have a specific responsibility over security services, which therefore any other function that is supportive to the role that we're playing, we have to source from experts. And indeed, that's what we did with the security services. We procure suppliers who are experts in their field, and as and when need arise. We do not have the technical expertise to manage security guards and the related industry requirements and standards. You will remember that firearm licensing and all those protocols of acquiring all the relevant security standards. And this is why we said we can't have this in-house. We have to get the bodies out there whilst government is strictly looking into the matter through the Minister of Justice and Minister of Police of how do we make sure that all these laws that we've put in place, they do not contradict what we want to achieve. key to the work that we are doing as government is not only to turn around the economy, but key to it is ensuring that our people get to have permanent jobs. And insourcing security services, cleaning services, we see it as an opportunity to make sure that we can create space for that. But unfortunately, as I said earlier, there are laws in place that we must first deal with in order to address the challenges. Can you imagine, Honourable Member, if we were to insource now?
All right, so we come out of the proceedings there at the National Council of Provinces, that is where the Communications, Telecommunications and Postal Services Minister Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams is currently speaking there at the Ministers of the Economics Cluster. They are responding to oral questions at NCOP. And what you see